Is it more appropriate to take a short-term view? We do our 7-day update, which would be a very short-term view of the market. We do that in the first segment of the show every single week. Or is it better to take a long-term view of the market? Even in real estate, it really, really matters. There are some things in life that you need to take a short-term view on. I don't think real estate is one of those. We received a question from Charles in Alpharetta. It says, we want to list our home and buy a new one, but wonder if there is such a thing as timing the market. And I would say, yes, there is such a thing as timing the market, but the reality is, anytime I have tried to time the market, I've been wrong. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to make intelligent decisions. I've bought investment properties in Metro Atlanta since 1992, never owned an investment property outside of Metro Atlanta. I bought investment properties as recently as 2 years ago. I would love to buy another one this year if I could find one. But the reality is, I don't really try to time those purchases based on the market. I time those purchases based on my needs, my investment need, my personal housing needs. And I think that is so, so important. I think there's a couple things to remember, and that is, things fluctuate in the short term for sure, but most analysts don't really expect things to move a lot. They don't expect the market to be very volatile. It's important to take that long-term view. Homeowners create wealth in two ways, and really buying a home is not all about creating wealth, but it's kind of turned into that over the last 30 years in the United States. The first is when they buy the property and then pay down the mortgage, the money they borrowed to purchase the home. The second is by seeing an overall increase in the value of the home, which tends to happen over time. As long as you plan to live in your home for a while, it's really not worth trying to time the market. I bought the most expensive townhome in the neighborhood where I live, but I can assure you that in the next 6 months, it will not be the most expensive townhome. And then 6 months after that, it will be further away from the most expensive. And 6 months after that, it'll be further away from the most expensive. And you could be thinking, well, Cleve, why would you have bought a townhome in a market that many home buyers and even home sellers don't consider to be a good market? And it's because it's what I needed to do for my life. The reality is it was time for me to sell it. So even if interest rates were a little bit higher and I thought I was going to pay more for something than I would have a year or two ago, it was the right thing for me to do. And I'll tell you, it's been one of the best things that I've done in a long time, because it's given me a whole renewed enthusiasm for life and given me a whole new set of routines and things like that. Real estate is a market that has proven itself over and over again over the past 50 years to deliver increased home values and also advantageous tax benefits for those of you who itemize your deductions. There may be temporary shifts or corrections in any market, but that doesn't mean that larger economic force will be greatly altered. I want to give a special kudos to John Birchfield, who is my favorite and preferred lender with Capital City Home Loans right here in Metro Atlanta, for helping me put together those tips to share with our listener who asked the question. It was Charles in Alpharetta.